Hello and welcome. In my previous video, I explained how I was given this 1996 Gary Fisher Marlin rigid mountain bike. I immediately set to work on it, and I upgraded it from a 3x8 to a 1x9 with a 13 to 42 tooth cassette. I also replaced the stock steel handlebar with a wider 720mm alloy unit, and I added a vintage leather saddle that I had on hand. And then sadly the bike just sat, since I have several other mountain bikes that I was riding. So I decided to convert the Marlin to a drop bar gravel bike using parts that I already had. I installed an 11 to 34 tooth 10-speed cassette and an alloy drop handlebar with MicroNew combo shifters that used to be on a road bike that I built some years back. I ended up last week just short of completion since I lacked new inner brake cables. Then I got to thinking. A dangerous habit, I know. I have a 2022 Marin Eldridge Grade 1 with a 2x9 Shimano group set. The only thing that I really want to change in the drivetrain is to install a clutched derailleur. Well, the Microshift Advent 9 to 10 derailleur on the Marlin has a clutch, so I decided on a mid-course correction. I went out and bought a new Shimano Hyperglide 11 to 34 tooth 9-speed cassette. It's got the same ratio as the 10-speed cassette, but one less cog, and it cost a whopping $26 on Amazon. Yeah, I could have put the 13 to 42 tooth 9-speed cassette back on the wheel, but honestly I felt that range was a bit excessive for the intended use of the bike. And installing the new cassette was really no big deal, and it went on with absolutely no issues whatsoever. Not a surprise. I then removed the Advent derailleur and I replaced it with a Shimano Acera from my parts bin. Later on I will install the Advent on my Marin. Now as you can see, the Acera works perfectly with the drop shifters. And I didn't realize it while recording, but geez Louise, that new cassette sure is shiny. So then I ran the new brake cables. I removed the old ratty bar tape so I could install new longer outers along with the new inners. Removing the old inners was pretty easy, but threading the new ones was a little fiddly, so let's just skip that. After installing the new cables, it was just a simple matter of setting the V-brakes. To be honest, I wasn't sure if the drop bar brakes had enough pull to activate the V-brakes going into this, but it turns out they do. They just don't have a lot of travel to spare. And now we come to the part that I like, admiring the finished product. Ta-da! Check her out. The drop bar setup looks pretty good on the Marlin, if I do say so myself. I also really love the way that the worn and patinaed green paint looks with that tan saddle. And I think I may look into getting some matching bar tape. And speaking of bar tape, I used some cheap new stuff that I had on hand. I admit it's a little funky looking, kind of like a golf ball texture on it. Plus, that two-sided tape was no longer sticky and actually came off with the release paper. Now this tape is a bit slippery in texture, so some of the wrapping was problematic in terms of getting it to stay put. I mean, it will do for now, but I am definitely going to get something a bit better for it, and sooner rather than later. I'm still running Bontrager connection trail tires in a 26-inch by 2.0-inch size, and I think these are going to be fine for this build, since the unbroken center tread will reduce rolling resistance, while the side lugs will give some grip on unpaved surfaces. Plus, I already owned them, so they added no cost to the build, which I like. The wheels are the new ones that I bought for $170 on Amazon last fall, and there really isn't much more to say about them. In total, this build cost me under $200. So all in all, I'm really quite pleased with this build. Now I know I am not the first person to do such a conversion. Not by a long shot. I mean, YouTube is full of videos of this nature. But it was the first time I've attempted this, and I think it came out pretty well. At least now the bike won't languish in my shed, which honestly was the initial motivation for me to do this build in the first place. So I hope this has been a fun and entertaining video to watch. And if you want to know more about this bike, there is a playlist linked lower left, and there is a link to another video lower right. As always, thanks so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate that. Goodbye, and have a wonderful day.